I'm on the wrong side. Aren't I usually on that side?
I don't know.
It's like sleeping on the wrong side of the bed. It's weird. Hi guys, welcome to Sippin Spillin.
Hola.
With Sid and Mike from 3 Mississippi. That's a lot of vodka.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
That's a lot of vodka.
It's been a day now.
Gin, tequila.
As you guys may be hearing behind us, there's a little bit of chirping. As promised, I did move the birds today.
It's water.
It is water. So is this. I did move the birds today from the shop into here. Unfortunately,
she lost one.
I lost one. Like, legitimately lost it. Like, it ran away. Cannot find it. It when I was reaching in there and pulling out birds, this one hopped out, and I was tracking it, and I saw it, and I almost had it, and then I almost had it again. But the shop is like, there's stuff everywhere, and it was really hard to get around. I could see it, but I couldn't get to it, you know? And then all of a sudden, it just disappeared. Just disappeared. All the doors, like, everything was closed.
I think one of those giant rats ate it.
I don't know. And I've gone in there. I brought another bird in with me, the hope that the chirping would make it chirp. But that didn't work. I walked around.
And it can't get out of that shop.
Like, yeah, like it's, I mean,
that shop, like a mouse could get in and out, but a bird that size could not.
I don't know if I 100% believe that it
Well, I went and checked the spot you were talking about, and it's a dead end.
Okay, well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I put food down for it just in case. The food was disturbed. However, I know he said,
rat.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Poor little girl is alone in the woods out there. I've gone in there several times during the day hoping that I'll like catch it out in the open or hear it. And I told Frankie, because I took Frankie in there when she got home from school, and you can hear the birds, like birds in the nature, right? Chirping away. And I'm like, there's too much nature. I can't tell if it's my bird chirping or if it's a songbird chirping, because it kind of echoes in the shop and it's just really hard to tell. So I don't know if it'll make it, or if I'll find it, or if it'll get eaten by a rat. An ROUS. So
right.
I'm concerned for its well-being, but there's only so much I can do. I mean, I moved stuff and I tried to listen for it, and I sat real still in there hoping to catch movement. I mean, I was in there for a good long while trying to find it today, and no luck. So that's my story.
So anyway, bottom line is the birds got moved out of the shop.
Into the garage.
Into the garage. We went to the hardware store, and I got the lumber that I need to build a workbench, a basic like 8-foot long workbench with like a top and then like one shelf underneath and a pegboard behind it. So I figure I can build that like on Saturday, or maybe even start it during the week.
It's supposed to rain. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, who knows about the weather.
It's supposed to
Anyway,
rain at some point.
That is my next project, is building that workbench.
Because then once he does that, I can organize the shop a bit for him in the interim, potentially, and then he can get some of his tools organized. So I think part of the problem for Mike sometimes is when something's so overwhelming, he's like, I can't look at it. Like, I can't deal with that right now. It's too overwhelming. Like, he gets that, like...
Really?
Well...
How often do you see me get overwhelmed?
Not like overwhelmed in the sense that you have the vapors and you need a fainting couch. But I mean like it's an overwhelming mess to like have to go in there and go, okay.
I think you're speaking for me as you. You're the one that gets easily overwhelmed.
I do.
I'm not overwhelmed by that shop.
But I also like to jump in and just like once you gave me the okay, like, okay, you can just deal with this, I'm going to deal with it. Like, I don't like the chaos. So, but you like to sit and
you get overwhelmed by how I solve problems. See,
yes,
I
that is accurate.
I am thorough in how I do things. So, I will not just go move stuff from one side to the other. I will go through every item and decide, does it really need to go in that pile, or do I need to start another pile? Or does this not even belong in this building? it belongs over in that building. That's the way I like to go through things.
Right, but in theory, because we just moved everything from one state to another, it's all like I don't know.
There's stuff in that shop that doesn't belong in the shop.
Okay. Do I get one little corner of the shop to keep some of my animal stuff in? Like one little, at least until the barn is built, or the shed part of the chicken.
I'll give you. It may not be a corner.
Whatever. I don't
I'll
care.
give you a
It could
small
be a flat
area.
surface. It could be
Corners
a
are very valuable real estate.
Oh my gosh.
But
I don't warrant a corner.
I'll put baby in the corner. No problem.
That's true.
This whole garage is yours. What do I have in here?
Okay, hold on. Hold the back in the truck up. Okay. I don't understand. The pantry is community property. That's like a thing, right?
There's a lot of square footage in here that's just empty.
I don't understand.
So you can park stuff in it.
That was your idea.
Yeah, it was a good idea too.
Then how am I getting blamed for it? I simply pulled it in here after I cleaned out the rest of the garage.
I was just hoping you would say, "Oh, okay, I'll put my stuff in a corner in here." Apparently not.
Well, if you will move all your crap that's still on that side, that can go in there.
That doesn't go in there. It goes in the house.
I don't think that's accurate because there's tools in there.
That's right. So
Just spit on me.
this needs my version of gone through. Some of it goes in the house. Some of it goes in the shop. Some of it needs to be repackaged
6
in
weeks
tubs.
Later.
Hey, I'm just saying. I'm gonna do it thorough.
Okay, fine. That's fine. We just have very different ways of doing things. I like to be.
Sometimes when Sid cleans, she has no idea where she put things.
That's not
I'll be
true.
looking for it 3 weeks later, and she put it in the most random cupboard.
Okay.
It's out of sight.
Nope.
She goes through like a hurricane.
When you can't find something, who finds it? Every time.
As a general rule, but let's be honest, where you put it is not where anybody would have looked.
That's not true. That is not true.
Oh, and let me get started about the kitchen. It's crazy.
What do you mean the kitchen's crazy?
You'd think that if there's pots and pans here, and you're looking for a pot or a pan or a lid to a pot or a pan, here's where you'd find it. Somewhere right here. Not over there.
They're not over there.
Not now. Not now.
They were never over there.
Oh, they were. They were in so many random places.
No, I had. Okay, he's talking about the old house. I had one skinny cupboard that had like the lids, and then I had the other slightly less skinny cupboard that had the pots in it. And my big pot went on in another cupboard that was up higher because it's the only place it would fit. This is not rocket science.
There was random stuff. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, you got a whole shop full of random stuff right now. That's all. It's fine.
I'm hangry right now too.
I know he is.
Part of the problem.
He's hangry.
We
went straight to neighbors, and I said I want to film before we eat dinner. So he came home. They were unloading the lumber, and I started making dinner. And so now he's hangry.
To compound that, today was my first day of intermittent fasting. No, yesterday was my first day of intermittent fasting. That's right. Today's day 2. I am trying to follow the intermittent fasting playbook right now because I'm getting fat. I'm not getting fat, I've gotten fat. So I'm like, all right, fine. I'm gonna intermittent fast and I'm gonna eat her food for a couple of months and see if I can get this under control. So right now I'm just hungry. I'm drinking water because I haven't broken my fast yet. That's a problem.
There you go. See, and that's what I drink all day long. Water.
Well, I've been drinking water all day long.
Yeah.
I would like to be drinking whiskey and eating pizza right now.
Yeah, but that's not what you're gonna do, mister. That's not what you're gonna do. But yeah, so anyway, but yeah, I'm glad we got the beginnings of that stuff so you can make your workbench so that then I can work on getting the shop somewhat organized so it's not just a big pile and at least there's pathways. Maybe I'll find a bird in the process. I don't know.
It might be all grown up by the time you find it.
Right?
You're like Sesame Street
Like
back up in
6
there.
months later.
Oh, there's Big Bird.
There's a chicken in there. Oh, yeah.
It's been eating all Mike's deer feed.
Yeah, I mean, there's food for it in there. There isn't really
There's
any
no water.
So I might
Probably need a water bowl.
Yeah, I
in there.
might put a water thing out there. No, I don't know what to. Yeah, I'll put a water thing out for it. But I mean, so, those things are supposed to have gone back to the depths of.
That's not mosquitoes. That's some kind of weird gnats.
No, they bite me though, and they look.
Everything bites you.
Mm,
You're small.
Not everything. There's some things that don't bite me out here.
Oh, we have the craziest ladybug infestation right now, but they're not really ladybugs. They're called Asian somethings.
From China? No.
Yeah, everything that's invasive comes from Asia. What's up with that?
I don't know.
Bug-wise.
Well, no, and then the kudzu, that's from Asia.
That's what I'm saying.
That's not a bug.
Oh, that's true. But yeah, they're like ladybugs, but they're like orange instead of
They're
red.
a little more orangey, yeah. And they're basically like all over the side of the house, and they come and
It's biblical, dude.
The other day you could see them floating in the air, like just walking around. They were just like.
I walked out to the shop today to take like a mental image of where I was going to build the bench before we went to get parts, and I was walking through a cloud of them, and they were just landing on me.
Yeah, and they're all over like the upstairs bathroom window, like just.
I
crawling.
opened the breaker box in the shop to see what kind of breakers I had to work with, and they were in there, and I was like, "What if they like short this thing out?" And I just closed it and walked away because I don't know.
They're not like they're legit look like ladybugs. Like if you didn't know, you'd think they were ladybugs, but they're just.
And I
they
Googled
travel
them.
in swarms.
They're in the same family, but they're an invasive species here, and I see why. Because they're invasive, dude.
But do they do anything harmful? Like eat?
They're toxic.
What do you mean toxic? To what?
Anything that eats them.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my.
But they still eat aphids like ladybugs do, which is good. Problem is, wrong time of year. Like, we need this infestation in, like, spring and early summer.
Yeah.
But according to people around here, this is a fall infestation that, like, happens every fall, which is a bummer.
So, like, if your birds are outside and they eat one of these bugs, it'll kill them?
I didn't say how toxic.
What? Like, just make them sick? Like, I need to Google this now.
Yeah.
I didn't realize they were toxic to anything that eats them. That's it. These
Yeah,
aggressive
they're
bugs tonight. There's very aggressive bugs this evening.
You know, here's the thing about animals. A lot of animals know what not to eat.
That's
It
true.
just smells
They do.
off.
Like there's a lot of animals that can't eat onions. Like
And they won't.
pigs and dogs, they won't eat them.
Like, don't give that onion to the pigs. The pigs are not going to eat
They
the
won't
onion.
eat it.
Calm down.
They'll eat around it. It's so funny. Like there's certain
Dogs
things.
will eat chocolate all day long.
Some
They haven't
dogs
figured that
will.
one out.
Because and it's really honestly like there's so many people that are like they have to
Chocolate's
eat
not that toxic to them.
the toxic. Well, okay, yes and no. So it's the with chocolate. It's that same chemical just like that's in avocados. In some forms, it's stronger than others. So like certain brands of like a chocolate bar, there's really not actually that much of the whatever in it because it's so
It's
like
all fake.
yeah, like it's
like
all
sugar and
yeah. So it's like that's why you'll hear
chocolate
stories
flavor.
of people eating or dogs getting into chocolate and eating like they ate 12 bars and my dog was fine, just had a little bit of diarrhea. That's because it was like
fake chocolate.
it was like
It's like Chinese honey.
yeah,
It's basically like, what's that sugar? Yeah, it's
like corn syrup.
Corn syrup, yeah.
Yeah.
High
But-
fructose corn syrup.
Yeah, but then
Flavored up to taste like whatever you want.
yeah, but then like there's like with avocados like the what is it, the difference between like the meat, the skin and the pit. Like there's different, like one has the stuff in it and the other doesn't, and that's like a
Pigs
whole
can
thing.
eat all of it.
And pigs love
Pigs
avocado
love avocado.
pits.
They love the pits.
They love the pits.
Yeah, but
I've
they
had-
love all of it.
Yeah, they love all of it.
We used to get avocados like by the case that were starting to go bad, but they weren't nasty.
Yeah, they weren't like molded, but
They
they
weren't
were
molded, but
they
they-
were like
they
people
were
wouldn't want to
beyond
eat them.
human
They
sale.
were yeah.
And I would occasionally sort through them and find a little bit that we wanted to eat, but for the most part, we just fed them to
We
the
got
hogs.
them from like a fruit stand that was like let us take their empties every day or every couple of days of stuff that they were just gonna dump in the dumpster.
And the pigs loved them.
Pigs loved it. I mean, I would get buckets and buckets, and some days it was more than others, but like I would get, you know, and I would have to sort through them because sometimes there'd be some that had mold or whatever that you'd have to like cut out or throw away. But yeah, man, those were happy pigs. When I
tell you, that's one thing I'm looking forward to. Once I have a bigger garden, like the garden I'm going to have this next year,
yeah.
I'll have food for the animals out of the garden.
Yeah.
I miss having like living greens to feed our animals.
I miss having the animals.
I don't really miss having the animals. I just miss feeding them right.
I miss having the animals. I did start my one order for spring for some meat birds and the rest of the laying hens that we want. But I can't order my ducks and my geese yet, but I will.
We're definitely gonna, so we know for sure. We don't know how long it's gonna take us to get to where we were, or even just to where we were, much less to where we want to be. I still don't know what animals all we're gonna have this spring. I'm hoping I have so many projects. Obviously the chicken coop,
right? Which
once the chicken coop is done, it's actually, you know, Fort Flocks, so it will also house the ducks. So once it's done, then okay, we can get some more ducks.
And I may just, well, depending on how it all shakes out, I may wheel the quail cage inside there.
Inside where?
Fort Flocks. And just have it up against the thing.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people had reached out telling me a couple different places in northern Mississippi that have quail available that I could get quail from, and I was gonna go ahead and jump on that and get that going, but then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna hold off a little bit longer because I can't brood chickens with quail. I mean, you could, I wouldn't recommend it. It's not gonna end well. There's just certain birds that there's certain birds that I want to make sure I have chickens with. Like when I do turkey poults, I make sure that I have at least 1 or 2 chicken chicks in there to teach them how to eat and drink and like give them a will to live, because turkeys will just like, I don't need water or food or heat to survive. I'll just stand here and die. But with quail, hopefully you're hatching out enough, or you got enough to start with, that they'll figure it out, because inevitably 1 or 2 of them try to kill themselves in the water, or it doesn't matter how small the water dish is, they will try to kill themselves in it.
I just know that I don't know how far we're going to get before all of a sudden the rainy season's starting to be over. It's time to start working on the spring garden, because that's when the brakes get pulled on everything animal, and the focus is entirely on the garden.
The chicken coop needs to be done before.
Chicken coop needs to be done by Christmas.
Yeah, yeah.
So that chicken coop is a project that I'm working on in the rainy season, as I can. Like when I see it that I've got to, you know, I can do the concrete, I can do the blocks.
You didn't want to work in the heat, so that means you have to work in the rain. Welcome to Mississippi. That's what you would say to me. I'm just parroting back. Why are you always making the face?
You get none of the things you want if I don't do them.
I realize that.
Careful.
I love you.
Mm-hmm. But look, the animals are the focus until spring. Prepping things. If I get far enough along, then I can start focusing on fencing. And if fencing gets far enough along, then maybe we're looking at cloven-hooved animals. I'm not saying for sure we are or we are not. It's all a matter of what we have time to get done between now and then. I'd like to get at least the slab poured for the barn in spring. So, like, whenever it's safe to, like, we got a break in the rain and we can pour a slab for the barn.
Right.
But I'm not going to build the barn in the spring. We're just going to get the slab poured We can throw up like one stable, one temporary thing for a horse if we need to.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not gonna. The barn is not more important than the garden once spring hits. The garden is definitely the focus at that point. So it's a question of how much can we get done between now and then.
All of it. I'm just kidding. We can get done quite a bit, I think.
Because everything garden is like time sensitive based on the time of year, and it's like
it's the same with animals. Some animals only breed at certain times.
I get that.
Like it's the same thing. So it's just like everything is dependent on the seasons and when things are pollinating or breeding or so we just have to.
But if we don't have sheep, goats, cattle, if we don't have any of those things,
that's not a problem.
That's not the end of the world.
First year,
right? We 100% we will have those by the second year.
Right, I'm okay with that. My issue was I want to at least get the birds starting to be established so that we have at least eggs, so that we have at least.
I agree. I want
some of those
eggs.
kinds
I
of
want meat
staples.
birds.
Right, so I got them coming at least because those are ones
quail
that I
would be
can kind of
great
crank
because
out,
that's another meat
and I
source.
can start the quail. I mean, the quail are a quick turnaround. If I get a couple mature birds and some chicks out of a different hatch group, I can like start breeding. I need to get a better incubator. I didn't bring my incubator with me because the one I had was not good, and then the old one I had broke. So
yeah, it's just a question of whether or not we're going to have the four-legged animals or not. Hopefully,
well,
it'd be nice.
Yeah, I do need to get. I need to get a donkey.
Yeah, but you don't need to get a donkey until you have something that you need the donkey to protect. So don't jump ahead and get a donkey.
Okay, what's going to protect the birds?
The Fort freaking flocks.
Okay.
That's why this is so important. Are you telling me it's not important? I don't need to build 4 flocks?
Well, you were saying you were gonna do. You were kind of
4
like
flocks
back and
is a
forth
focus.
Okay.
We need a donkey. If we even need a donkey, I haven't even done my research on that. But if we need a donkey, we need a donkey when we start our herd of sheep.
Yeah, but they will also keep the predators away from the property. In general, they will keep things away.
I hear you saying that.
Okay, I hear you hearing me say that. Okay, I'm just saying.
I'm not gonna put a bunch of time, money, and effort into fencing just for a donkey. When the fencing is ready for the flock, then you can get a donkey.
Okay.
When we're ready to get a flock, you can get a donkey.
You're talking about a flock of sheep or a flock of birds?
Sheep.
I never know with you. Okay.
When we're ready to start our sheep.
The donkey can go in the front pasture with where the horse would be.
That fence is not ready either. There's a lot of work that needs to happen.
Okay.
I don't think you understand how fences work.
I don't think you understand.
Anywhere where there's a spot where there's not a fence?
There's only one spot where
there's so many spots. There's so many spots.
Okay.
Down by the creek, trust me.
There is that one spot that I told you about by the creek.
There's multiple spots where there's no gate, there's just an opening.
Right.
Those need something done with. Gates are expensive and they take time and effort to build. You can't just buy a gate and hang it on what? A T-post?
I didn't say that. I'm not
There's a lot involved. That's all I'm saying.
There's gates there just needs some attention.
Oh, those gates won't work. Those aren't even gates. Those are what used to be gates. They're shot.
Okay.
You can't even make those work. I have to go buy some gates.
These kamikaze beetles, man.
One of those gates might work depending on how rusted it is. I'm going to have to take it out, lay it down, do some grinding and cleanup on it, some welding. The other one is completely rusted out. It's not gonna. You can't even make a gate out of it.
All right.
Then, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, we'll figure it out. But either way, eventually I'm getting a donkey and an Anatolian Shepherd. It's all good.
Time will tell, guys. Stick with us. Stick with us through this first season and find out.
Will we kill each other?
Yeah, we honestly. Will we kill each other? Will one of us get fed to the hogs? No, because we're not going to have hogs yet.
He told me now I can't do pigs. So
I never said you can't. I said I am debating whether or not to do hogs. I'm on the fence about it because there's a hog problem in this area, a wild hog problem. Now we don't have any on our property, But within 10 miles of here, I hear stories of people who have hog problems. So, you know, and
That's fine.
we have a relatively close neighbor within a couple of miles that has a large hog farming operation, and I know them. And if we start raising hogs, I can't even go on that piece of their property because of the potential of, you know, parasitical cross contamination. So I'm just on the fence about whether or not it's even worth growing a hog if there's plenty of hog available around here. So I don't know. We still might. I don't know.
We don't know. Yeah. We're gonna.
They're good garbage disposals, that's for sure.
They are. So, yeah. And then there's a lot of pros, I think, to doing a couple a year. But
I like knowing how they're raised. I like knowing what they ate.
Yeah.
I like having that lard available to mix with, you know, or not even just the lard, but like some good like shoulder pork that's like 20% fat that I can mix with some super lean venison and make, you know, some tasty meat. So
right.
I don't know. I'm on the fence.
Yeah. We'll see what happens, but I don't know. I think you just have to admit though that the animals are of equal importance.
Oh, they're 100% of equal importance.
I mean,
certain times one is more important than the other because certain things are time sensitive. That's all I'm saying.
okay. Well,
I mean, I'm putting zero focus on my garden right now. All my focus is on your birds right now. But when it comes time for when I'm like running up against, I got to be planted by this day, the focus has to switch. That's all I'm saying.
okay. That's fine. That's when I'll work on training my dogs. On that note, guys, we hope you enjoyed this crazy, chaotic, marital spat episode of Sippin and Spillin. Apparently that's the mood this week. So thanks for hanging out with us and the kamikaze beetles that are running into everything inside the garage.
Dude, these
we'll
lights
see you
are-
tomorrow.
Yeah. Hasta.